Welcome back to another Saturday summary, and there are a lot of things to discuss today. And as you know, I'm a man of the people. I read the comments, I reply to the comments. You man was screaming, add Liga Nos, talk about Eredivisie. So I got you lot today. We're going to be doing Premier League games, then La Liga, Serie A, Liga, and Bundesliga, and a cheeky bit of Liga Nos and Eredivisie in there. So if you are enjoying these videos every single day, you know what to do. We're on the road to that 100k subscription, but we start this morning, or lunchtime rather, Stamford Bridge, the first game of the day, Chelsea v Fulham, West London derby. And I want to start by saying this already from the beginning. You know, like on TikTok, I can do the whole trolling and we do a bit of banters here and there. As always, I like to try and be sensible in this one and have honest conversations. But guys, after I praised a lot the way you guys played against West Ham and won, obviously 5-1 away at, not Upton Park, what's it called, London Stadium? This wasn't it, guys, today. This was bad. And we're going to get straight into it because the entire first half was Fulham domination to the point where a certain someone that you see on your screen right now, non-existent. And this is why, guys, I rate Caicedo so highly, because so many times in so many games he's holding Enzo Fernandez's hand, but nobody wants to admit it because at the end of the game, Enzo will go and, get like a back post tap-in header or something like that. And I'm like thinking, guys, what game are you seeing that I just happen to not be watching? I don't really understand what's going on. Now, early on, as I said, Chelsea were a bit unfortunate in that their lap went down with a hammy within like the first 10-15 minutes. And of course, he was influential in the West Ham game because although he's not the one, racking up the GA, if you will, his hold-up play, moving like a battering ram up front, it was really, really important and allowed João Pedro to kind of facilitate behind him, if you will. But they didn't really have that today. They brought on Evil Saka, who I think he's even going to Roma or something. This may have been even his last game. It seems as though that's the case. But as I said, Fulham dominating. They got their goal. And then, listen, let's talk about it. Incredible goal. He runs straight through, chops a man, and then whips it like he's Mbappe, Joshua King. The first time I saw him last week, I was thinking it was the Norwegian guy from Bournemouth back in the day. But apparently he's a new one decade, 18 years old. All I'm going to say is, we made that video predicting England 2030 lineup yesterday. Have we got a late entry? Because he was cold. But unfortunately, it didn't count because Rodrigo Muniz, who does a lovely little roulette, pirouette, whatever you want to call it, someone puts his foot in the way, gets stamped on. Or not, I'm not even going to call it a stamp. They were calling it a stamp. They were calling it a reckless and uncontrolled stamp, is what they were saying, the referee. I couldn't believe my eyes. That's strike number one. Marco Silva fuming, and rightly so. Because I feel like every week, I just see Marco Silva sitting there like, he's laughing like he's bearing the big blue house when he just smelled something nice today. Because every week, I don't know if what's wrong with Fulham, but they seem to get on the wrong end of so many decisions. Even if you think they are, 50-50, which again, some of them are. And look, I'm going to mention Caicedo because I gassed him up, but at the same time, guys, Lukic was giving both Caicedo and Enzo the runaround. To the point where Caicedo had to fetch a calm yellow because he was covering for Enzo Fernandez, however. But again, I want to reiterate, Caicedo, so many of the things he had to do were because of how bad Enzo Fernandez was playing. We finally saw Estevao show up as well towards the end of the first half. A nice little run against Bassi. You know me, I'm a super Estevao fan. But today, again, anonymous. The whole attack, essentially, non-existent, right? But with Enzo, the thing is, people keep on saying like, oh, just say you don't watch Chelsea. Just say like you hate Chelsea. Guys, like I'm the one that's watching the games. I'm going to exaggerate a little bit here, but I forget the exact numbers, so allow me. It was like a 7v1, Chelsea counter, and Enzo managed to find the one from Fulham to not score the goal. Or he's so slow on the counter that guys like Iwobi and these men have run back to track back and win the ball off him. It was, my favorite word to use these times, abhorrent. It was a really, really, really bad game. But Stamford Bridge tax, we get 8 minutes added on for the first half. In the 9th minute, João Pedro scores a header. Now, again, you know me, I'm a man of honesty. I think people that are crying about the 9 minutes thing, you're just doing it because you don't like Chelsea. I'll be honest with you. Every time we hear it is a minimum of 8 minutes. So if things happen in those 8 minutes that requires edit time again, then so be it. 9 minutes, I don't have really an issue with that, whatever the case may be. But Enzo scams an assist. That's the first and foremost. But again, João Pedro, that's someone that I do want to give flowers because he is seemingly becoming a goal machine at this point. Obviously, he started off slow in the Premier League, but we know what he was doing in Club World Cup for those of us that were there, you know, watching them times. And then, second half, Fulham come out, and we're thinking again, look, I'll be honest, Chelsea don't look comfortable here. They don't know what planet they're on. But then, lo and behold, a penalty. Somehow, they get a penalty for handball. And look, whether you can argue about is it natural position or unnatural position, they spent about 10 minutes watching this replay when João Pedro handballs in the box beforehand and then pushes a brother as well. That should have also been a foul. Last I checked, again, someone clarify, you know, the rules for me. I thought an attacking player that handballs it in the box and it's leading towards like a goal scoring opportunity, it's automatic handball, whether they meant it, whether they didn't mean it. But I guess, again, the rules are different whenever they feel like it. So Enzo Fernandez slots home 2-0, and they're now going to go and tell me 3 months from now, oh, but Enzo's got 75 billion GA, and it's just him getting penalties that felt completely undeserved. But again, look, that's not what I want to speak about. Again, Fulham, big up your thing. Chelsea won the game. I also, low-key, guys, there's a slight convo I want to have. I'm not sure if you guys are ready for it yet, because you're going to say like it's reactionary or something, but it's an opinion that I've held for a very long time. If you follow me on Twitch, where I do my Monday Match of the Day streams where we go through all the highlights, go check out the Twitch. We'll be there Monday again, 4 p.m. Cucurella. Guys, Cucurella, to me, you might disagree with me. Let me know. His defending is basically just fouling guys until they don't even want to go near anymore. Let me give you like an analogy, as always, I like to give you guys, yeah? Take yourself back to secondary school, or if you're still there now, go back to secondary school, lunchtime football. You know that one lunatic, that maniac or crackhead, whatever you want to call him, that he slide tackles on the concrete and lunchtime football? That's Cucurella. Like, nobody wants to go near that guy because, you know, he doesn't really care about, like, your feelings or your Achilles or your knees or nothing. So he'll just start kicking you, like moving rash and just, you know, gallivanting all over the place. And then suddenly you're like, oh, okay, well, is that not a foul? Like, what's happening here? For some reason, he gets away with so many fouls. But again, that, look, obviously, since the Euros, he's been much improved in general. But I'm just saying, defensively, let's stop acting like he's some proper clamps defender when it's normally elbowing guys in the back or clipping them from behind, and then that's his way of defending. But again, as I said, unfortunate for Fulham. Obviously, Marco Silva cannot speak about the referees because they move like a Robert Mugabe dictatorship. If you say anything, you're in trouble. So we'll go straight to the afternoon games in England. We'll do United and then we'll do the Spurs game as well. United, well. It was like deja vu, because just like in the last Premier League game where they started like a house on fire first 10-15 minutes, Cunha having those two, I think he hit the post and then one went just wide. Buemo basically done the same thing today. Couple shots within a minute, both of them did not go in the back of the net. They did get unlucky, to be fair, because United dominated for a lot longer this time, actually. I would say it was the entire first half, because they almost could have had a penalty, but Walker, was it outside the box, was it inside the box, was it a foul? You know, debatable. I think it was outside the box and then Mount tries to, you know, fly his way in, but nevertheless, United take the lead 1-0, where from a corner set piece again. The team that were crying the most about facing Stoke every week, their only 2 goals up to this point are 2 own goals from set pieces. But as I said, look, United were very good in that half, and I felt that they were really hard done by with the Cunha injury. I don't know if it's a hamstring or whatever CL it may be, but he walked straight down the tunnel. He looked fuming, so that's really unfortunate because he, despite not getting bare goals, has had a very bright start to life at United. And honestly, it could have been more than 1-0 in that first half, because like Ahmad missed a near open goal. The whole game, bro, they were trolling, it seemed like bro, Xerxes, even when he came on, simple chance, he manages to miss it. And then, what do you know, second half, Burnley, I'll be honest, they woke up and said, you know what, why don't we start pressing United? And everyone's like, oh, yeah, really? So as if we haven't just seen every team press United and cook them. So now I see Uguchuku balling and all these men are balling out. United are now on ropes. I said, no. Guys, not to Burnley, please. Surely not to Burnley. And Dalot showed what how do I say this politely? He's a professional footballer, so I can't really say too much. But the IQ, footballistically or in real life, whatever one combined, is lacking. His defensive awareness is so bad that I don't know where this guy was thinking he was for the equaliser. But alas, like I said, Burnley make it 1-1. Luckily for Dalot, he makes up for it immediately because from kickoff, they literally lump it forward. He does really well to cut it back. And Mbeumo now gets his first Premier League goal to add to his previous goal in the game against Grimsby. But it wasn't over, guys. All the rivals, this is what's sad as well for United. I feel bad for, do I feel bad for them? Not really. But all the rival fans celebrated Mbeumo's goal because they're thinking, you know what? If United don't win today, Amorim's gone. That's how bad it's gotten. And it went to 2-2. Guys, Burnley scored again. Now this one, look, he did a lovely little round the keeper and finish. A really good goal. Offside, onside, I don't know. I'm not going to claim that I know exactly what it was. What I will say is that it was the weirdest graphic I've ever seen. Like, they showed, you know, the semi-automated VAR. So obviously, like, you believe whatever it says. But I didn't understand what I was looking at. Does that make sense? If you saw it, you know what I'm talking about. They showed, like, someone's arm, but then it wasn't from where my man's foot was. And obviously, your arm is not like a body part that you can score with, so it wouldn't be offside. I didn't understand what they were trying to portray there. But anyway, it got disallowed. Maybe it was offside. I'm not claiming it was on or off. Guys, they made it 2-2 again. Guys, Burnley made it 2-2 again. United were on ropes, fighting for their lives, going machine for machine with Burnley, the worst team in the league. Now, again, it was a long throw. United failed to deal with it. They equalised. But then, at the death, we know what happens. Fergie time. He was up there looking from somewhere. United get a penalty. Was it a pen? Look, I'll be honest. Spending 5 minutes looking at the replay tells me that it's not clear and obvious because you can see he's definitely holding. Like, that is a foul. But it's whether or not he lets go before reaching the box or does he jump into the box like that. We don't know for certain. None of us can say that we know. But again, regardless, it is a penalty. Once more, Amorim is becoming concerning, guys. He's become way too emotional. Like, obviously, I get it. Like, you're a competitor, you want to win, I get all that. But the amount of emotion he's showing and he's crying in interviews and say by crying, like, I mean metaphorically, he's not actually, you know, bursting out into tears. Like, big up everyone, you know, mental health and that. If you want to cry, do your thing. But Amorim, the way he just sits there, like with his legs crossed, with his arms folded when the penalty is being taken, I just said, nah, man. This guy don't strike me with no confidence, bro. I don't want to play for him. Bruno wraps it bottom left. And then he runs and the rain is pouring. He does a knee slide. He shushes the Burnley players. He does that to the Burnley players. Listen, people are saying, oh, why are you going crazy celebrating? It's only Burnley. You lot don't understand. This is a big 6-pointer, guys. In the relegation battle, we may look back at this in May thinking, you know what? That was a massive penalty from Bruno to get them into 17th whilst Burnley, you know, miss out and finish 18th and get relegated. So don't be the celebration police and say, no, why are you shushing the Burnley player and telling them to speak now, bro. It's a big game for them. But again, alas, we'll move on to the last game I'm going to properly cover in the Premier League, which is Spurs. Not a lot to say here other than this was a battering. I'm a little bit concerned. And I want to say this beforehand, as always. Let's not be too reactionary. But there are slight concerns. Thomas Frank, so far, I've been giving him crazy praise, you know, before Spurs, since he's been at Spurs. But is there a slight danger that maybe he's a better coach for a team that are the underdogs? I.e. he performs better when he has to put up like a back to the wall type game, or you know you're going to have less of the ball, so you got to press differently, and guys like Palhinha are more important because obviously, look, they're playing a team that they are. The league positions last season don't show it, but obviously, you know, we know what happened last season. Bournemouth are a good team, but Spurs, especially the form they're in, should come into this home game full of confidence. They've unveiled Xavi Simons. By the way, one of the most loser things I've ever seen is them tweeting that from their official account, let it all work out with Xavi Simons. I hear the fans doing it and whatnot because, you know, bit of banters with your rivals and that. The official account making their biggest ever signing since what? Is it since probably Jurgen Klinsmann back in their days, for those of us who remember. I don't know. It might even be their biggest ever. And you make it about Arsenal. That was a bit loserish. But again, they've unveiled him. And he's got to sit up there and watch his team have 0 shots in the first half. And their first shot on target was what? Minute 69. Guys, Bournemouth packed them in. Every single player, I'd argue, was terrible except Romero. He was one of the terrible ones. Except Vicario, who was moving like Spider-Man making bare saves. And just, again, as you know, things come to my mind whilst I'm speaking. It's all unscripted and whatnot. Speaking of Javi Simmons sitting up there, can I also mention Garnacho, by the way? He arrived at Stamford Bridge today. He must have thought he was getting a crazy unveiling, bro. They said, go and sit up there, bro. We don't rate you like that. Go sit up there. And he was sitting across the chairs like it was his house. I said, uh-oh. Do not disrespect the establishment, huh? Stamford Bridge was here long before you, Garnacho. Don't come and sit there like it's your yard. But anyway, sorry, back to Spurs. They got packed in completely. Saar, who I've been praising, was really good. Really bad. Kudus, who I've been praising, wasn't very good either. Brennan Johnson, he's the kind of guy that if he's not going to score you a goal, it's a bad game. It's going to be a fail comp every time. It's just that no one cares enough about Brennan Johnson to make a fail comp. But as I said, Evan Nelson makes it 1-0. My mind is bugging out today. I don't know what's happening. Sincere apologies. It's like 12:30 as I'm recording this. He makes it 1-0. Romero is all over the place. I gave that guy Team of the Week last week. And it's back down to reality for Christian Romero. One good game, and they were talking about him like he's some all-timer elite centre-back. I said, I don't quite know about that. But again, Bournemouth continue to have chances. I'm seeing, Tavernier hit the side netting, misses upon misses. Bergvall came on and had a nice shot on target. That was the one I was referring to. But in the end, pretty pathetic performance. And again, against teams that are, maybe lesser than you, Palhinha might not be the guy. He's a destroyer that's going to break up attacks for other teams. But listen, fair play to Areola. He cooked again. Quickly, before I go to Spain, there were 3 more games in the Premier League. Sunderland picked up a huge win against relegation rivals, some teams that I might say are going down. Everton also another massive win. They seem to be loving Grealish. I'm seeing Everton fans saying, yo, go and pay the 50 million now. Leeds Newcastle, I'm not even going to give them 10 seconds of airtime. That was a terrible game. So let's go to Spain. Simeone. Time might be up, buddy. This is not a good look. Another 1-1 draw. They get a goal, they concede within the first 20 minutes, and then the rest of the 70 minutes, again, it's just like a goal waiting to happen, but no one's bagging. So this is really big cause for concern, especially when their local rivals Madrid are going and winning again to make it 3 out of 3. Now this one is really about who watches the sport and who watches the Excel spreadsheet. Because for me, let me know again if you agree, the 2 best players on the pitch were Trent and Mbappe, neither of whom scored. And I don't believe Trent got an assist either. He did get an incredible assist in the first 10 minutes for Mbappe. But again, he was offside by like 2 millimeters. I reckon, had he got like a fresh little fade, or he had that old school level 1 cut that he had when he burst through in Monaco, boom. You're talking about that being 1-0. Great goal again. Mbappe looking lethal, clinical, but it didn't count. And Muriqi goes up the other end. And the Pirate does his celebration like that. I don't know if that's his regular celebration or it was like a shot at Vinny. But, in the blink of an eye, next thing you know, Arda Güler, who, by the way, this is why I say watch the games. He wasn't good today, huh? I know my Turkish people. Listen, big up Turkey, yeah? Great fans and that. But let's be honest today, Arda Güler wasn't very good. But he gets the goal thanks to Dean Huijsen, who, this guy's crossing, this guy's passing. For a centre-back is ridiculous. And as I said, immediately after that goal, Vinny goes on a run. Left foot, slightly scuffed, but his run deserved it. Left foot, bottom corner, 2-1, and he gives us his own celebration back. And from that point, look, I'll be honest, it was a basketball game, but I felt as though it was the best I've seen Madrid look going forward in quite a while. Defensively, listen, Mallorca had them on ropes at times. Sergi Darder, if you know me from like 4 years ago, that used to be my guy 4 years ago. But again, he was balling out. There was some crazy. Trent made a last-minute block where it looked all like a goal that was about to happen. He just slides in last second to clear it. But the even better one, their new left-back, Carreras, I believe his name is. Bro, there's a shot, literally, a missile flying into the side netting that's going to go into the net. And this guy, he does some acrobatic Simone Biles nonsense to somehow clear it. Like, it's in the air, it's not on the ground. He's cleared it in the air. First time, boom, up in the air. So I said, you know what? Hey, fair enough. But again, Mbappe scores another goal. This time slightly more offside. But I want to reiterate, he didn't score today. He did come off in the end. But Mbappe's moving warm, guys. This is... I'm looking at Ballon d'Or level form here. I'll be honest with you. But again, GG to them. We'll go to Italy. The only game that I'm really going to cover here, I didn't get time to watch Roma. They won 1-0. I did see Napoli, though. And Napoli... were banging at the gates like, what's my man? I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow the house down. Is it the Three Billy Goats? Is it the Billy Goats Gruff, or is it someone else? Is that the Goldilocks and the Free Bear? Whatever, you know what I'm talking about anyway. They were banging away, but nothing was happening. McTominay was trying bicycles, because again, we know what happened last time they faced Cagliari. If you don't, it was the final game of the title season, just, you know, at the end of last season, where there were the flares everywhere, and we called him Diego Armando McTominay. He missed a couple chances, and this time it was Zambo Anguissa. Last kick of the game, cutback, and it felt as though he had all the time in the world, because he looked so so many players rash will smash that over the bar. And you know, I've had my comments about there's some people who shouldn't really be allowing to take shots after minute 90, but to be fair, it wasn't outside the box, so actually my hypothesis still stands. We're going to get into that one day. But Napoli scrape it at the end. Conte goes crazy, the fans are going crazy. They've scraped a 1-0 win again, so fair play to them. We go to Bundesliga, where Bayern are looking a tiny little bit shaky. They've gone 3 up again, you know, the same as always. They're thinking, you know what, yep, it's going to be another Kane 8 goals, or at least say 7 assists, something crazy like that. It's 3-0. They actually go and concede 2 to Augsburg, and they're holding on by the end of it. But again, they get their win. Meanwhile, Mr. Ten Hag, they were saying this already, his job is up for grabs. Could he be swapping with Ruben Amorim? I don't know, maybe. But this wasn't good, guy. You cannot be 3-1 up against 10 men and you don't win the game. That is really, 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 really bad. I don't know if his players not playing for him. To be honest with you, they had so much judge and black magic 2 years ago that maybe it's just running out. Because if you watch the game, that third goal that they conceded, bro, it was like 3D Space Pinball Cadet. You know, we played back in the day. And then I sound like an idiot if you haven't played the game, but if you played it on Windows 97, you know what I'm talking about. The ball was bouncing, and then it finally flies in for 3-3. And of course, they leave with 1 point. We go to France, where, guys, I think we've seen the best hat-trick ever. For me personally, when I talk about greatest hat-tricks of all time, we look at Dennis Bergkamp 1997 v Leicester, for those of us who remember. We look at Rivaldo against Valencia 2001, for those of us who remember. You can maybe even make the argument for Jeff Hurst 1966, for those of us who remember. But that was more greatness in terms of it's a World Cup final. We aren't going to see that, you know, anytime soon again. But this from João Neves, someone that's not even a striker. He's not even a 10. He's just a midfielder who you could argue is more of a defensive midfielder than an attacking one. He scores an overhead kick minute 7. You're thinking, wow, that's pretty cool. Nice. Minute 15. An overhead kick again. This time even better. He chests it and volleys it. It reminds me of, do you guys remember Negrete? What a baller he was. I believe it was against a Puebla 1986, for those of us who remember. He scores like a chest and bangs it overhead kick. It was a bit like that. I said, hold on a minute. 2 in 1 game. Have we ever seen that before? And you know me, I start racking my brain. I'm going back to, like, you know, 1908. I'm thinking Paulino Alcantara when he was playing for Barca 1912-13. Even he didn't do that. I can't think in my database if anyone scored 2 in 1 game. So again, let me know if there is one. Maybe like in lower league or, you know, national league or something, you've seen it. But I've never seen that before. And to top it off, he bangs it from like 25 yards in the toppest of top bins to get a hat-trick. They go and win 6-3, I believe it was in the end. So many goals in that game. But yeah, João Neves, best hat-trick I've ever seen. So he's already the captain of Team of the Week 3. Massive spoiler alert. And to go and one-up them, Lille went away to Lorient to score 7 goals. So fair play to them. Liga NOS. Porto. Good win. The winning goal was scored. It was a banger, by the way. Left foot finesse from a William Gomez. Now, I'm going to be honest again. I'm not too familiar with him. So let me know if there's any Porto fans watching. Is he meant to be cold? Is he a youngster? I've done no research on this. I just saw the goal in it. I was just watching and I saw him bang it. I don't know his age. I don't know nothing about him. But fair play. That's a class goal to win it. Eredivisie, I'm not happy with you. You guys ruined all my accas. Because what do you mean Ajax and PSV are losing to teams like Volendems and was it Telstar? Bro, what do you mean Telstar? What's that? Is that like MTN, Vodafone, Tigo or something? Like a Ghana, you know, SIM card? What is Telstar? No, man, can't believe that. Big up to all the guys that won. Again, listen, before the international break, doesn't matter how you win it, just go and get your wins. That applies to Chelsea, that applies to United, to Real Madrid, to everyone. Get the 3 points, worry about performances after the international break. All right, so there we are. As I said, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, please. We are pushing for 40k now. We're like 2.5k away from 40,000. That'll be a really nice landmark to hit in international break if we can possibly do that. Keep the comments flowing, keep the algorithm booming. Again, follow on Twitch, because every Monday around 4:30 we do a whole Monday highlight session of all the top 5 leagues. We discuss and debate and whatnot. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, where we have a massive Super Sunday. The 2 title challengers, Liverpool and Arsenal, face off. So I'll see you again. Bear in mind, I'll be here late because Barca are going to play and whatnot. So again, same kind of time, midnight-ish. Have a great weekend. In a bit. Bosh.